All right, let's just jump right in. When I say the word oxygen, what do you think of? Probably fresh air, taking a deep breath, life itself. It's this amazing, essential element that we all need. But what if the very thing that keeps you alive is also, bit by bit, the thing that's killing you? That's the wild paradox we're digging into here. It turns out the story of oxygen is a total double-edged sword. And if you understand that, you kind of understand the fundamental trade-off of what it means to be alive. Let's talk about this oxygen paradox. It's pretty wild to think about, but for the first, billion or so years of life on this planet, oxygen was basically a deadly poison. All the early life was anaerobic. It didn't need oxygen. Then, these tiny photosynthetic bacteria started pumping out oxygen as waste, and it caused one of the biggest mass extinctions ever. This stuff was so corrosive that life had two choices: adapt to it or die. We're just the descendants of the ones that figured it out. So if it's so dangerous, why on earth do we need it? What's the point? Well, the answer, in one word, is energy. Oxygen is the absolute key that unlocks the power inside every single one of our cells. The easiest way to think about it is like a campfire. A fire needs fuel, right? Like wood. And it needs oxygen to burn. If you take away either one, the fire goes out. Your body, believe it or not, works pretty much the same way. The food you eat is the fuel, and oxygen is what lets you burn that fuel to release all the energy you need. How does that actually happen? Well, it's kind of a three-step dance. First, obviously, you breathe oxygen into your lungs. Then, this amazing protein in your blood called hemoglobin acts like a super efficient delivery driver, grabbing that oxygen and racing it out to every cell in your body. And finally, your cells use that oxygen to break down your food and create energy. That's the stuff that lets you walk, talk, and even think. The whole shebang is called cellular respiration. But, and this is a big but, creating all that energy isn't exactly a clean process. There's a cost. There's an unavoidable damaging byproduct. And this is where our best friend oxygen starts to show its dark side. To really get what's happening, just think about a piece of metal left out in the rain. It rusts. Or think about an apple you slice open. It turns brown. That's a process called oxidation. It's just oxygen reacting with molecules and causing them to break down. And here's the kicker. That exact same chemical reaction is happening inside your body, right now. Now, the little villain causing all this trouble is called a free radical. Picture it as a chaotic, rogue oxygen molecule. It's unstable because it's missing an electron, so it goes on this absolute rampage through your body, trying to steal an electron from anything it bumps into, your cell walls, your proteins, even the DNA in your genes. And look, this isn't some rare thing. Scientists figure that about 2% of all the oxygen you breathe in and use turns into one of these destructive little guys. Now, 2% might not sound like much, but think about how many breaths you take every single day. It adds up, big time. This constant, low-level damage from free radicals has a name: oxidative stress. It's the wear and tear on a cellular level. It's literally, and I mean literally, the process of you rusting from the inside out. And this gradual damage is believed to be a huge factor in the aging process itself, from wrinkles all the way to more serious health issues. So we've got this slow, steady damage happening all the time. But what happens if you get a massive dose of oxygen all at once? Well, then the problem goes from a slow burn to a full-blown, immediate crisis. You gotta remember, we don't breathe pure oxygen. Just look at the air around us. It's mostly nitrogen. Oxygen is only about 21%. Our bodies have spent millions of years getting perfectly tuned to this specific mixture. If you start breathing in air with way more oxygen than that, you run into a condition called oxygen toxicity, or hyperoxia. To put it simply, you're being poisoned. It can wreck your lungs and your nervous system, causing everything from twitching muscles to severe inflammation. Just look at the difference here. With normal air, your hemoglobin is a perfect delivery system. But with pure oxygen, it gets totally overwhelmed. There's just too much. This leads to a catastrophic explosion of free radicals that your body just can't handle. Your lungs, which are getting hit with the highest concentration, are the first to go. Their cells start to break down. And get this, here's a super cool detail. That 78% nitrogen isn't just taking up space. It's inert, so we don't absorb it, but it plays a crucial physical role. It provides the pressure inside our lungs that keeps all the tiny air sacs from collapsing. If you start breathing pure oxygen, that pressure dynamic gets all out of whack, and parts of your lungs can literally deflate. I know this all sounds pretty bad, right? Oxygen is constantly out to get us. But hey, don't panic. Complex life has been dealing with this problem for hundreds of millions of years, and it's developed a pretty amazing defense system. And that defense system is built around these heroes called antioxidants. Remember that free radical, the little thief trying to steal an electron? Well, an antioxidant is like a bodyguard that shows up and says, hey, take one of mine instead. It sacrifices its own electron to neutralize the free radical before it can damage anything important, like your cells. Where do we get these little protectors? Well, for one, our bodies are smart. They've evolved to make their own. But we also get a massive assist from our diet. All those things you hear about, like vitamin C, vitamin E, beta-carotene, you find them in fruits and veggies. They are all powerful antioxidants that help your body win this constant internal battle. When you step back and look at the whole picture, it all comes down to this one central idea, a very, very delicate balance. Our entire existence depends on walking this incredibly fine line with the very element that gives us life in the first place. And that brings us right back to this magic number, 21%. It's not just a random number, it's the perfect Goldilocks amount of oxygen. It's just enough to power big, complex, energetic creatures like us, but not so much that it completely overwhelms our defenses and rusts us into nothing. Which really leaves you with a pretty profound question, doesn't it? The air we're all breathing right now is perfectly calibrated for our survival. A perfect balance between creation and decay, between fuel and fire. Is that just an unbelievable cosmic fluke? Or is it a sign of an impossibly delicate design? Something to chew on the next time you take a nice deep breath.